Suits season 5, episode 16. It is officially done. Mike Ross is out of the world for a couple of years. And boy, oh boy, was this a fucking awesome, emotional, and very satisfying episode. There's just, there are a couple of problems I kind of had, but it's just more of like nitpicking and just my perspective of things. One is just that this was such a great episode, right? And this is going to be kind of a review of like the full season a bit, and just kind of like what I want in the next season, or what may or may not happen. So for this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this was such a good episode, from the emotional moments to the acting to the music involved. All of it was on point, to the point where I was just like, this felt like a series finale. And I almost wanted it to kind of be a series finale because it was so good. Therefore, it's almost just like, if this was so good, I hope like the series finale actually does kind of live up to the greatness that was this season finale. Because a couple of things that happened in this episode, obviously, is, if you saw in the previous one, Mike takes the deal. Harvey kind of wondering what the hell's going on. He tries to figure out, was Mike Ross going to be guilty or innocent? And the verdict, after Mike Ross actually takes the deal, turns out Mike was actually going to be innocent. And that was one of the scenes that kind of stuck out, was that when Mike comes to Harvey, right, and, Mike asks him, what was going to be the verdict or whatever, and Harvey kind of tells him, you were going to be guilty. You see it on his face, and it's just this priceless facial expression, to the point where you can see that it's eating him alive, to the point where he's just like, I don't want to tell him this, because not only is it going to hurt him, but in fact, it's actually hurting me more. You can see it on Harvey's face that it actually hurted Harvey more to learn that verdict than I think it ever would have done to Mike for some reason. And that just kind of showed how much Mike actually does mean to Harvey. So I thought that was actually very well. Also, it seems like the firm is officially kind of done in this episode. Not episode, just in general now, because, everybody's kind of leaving after finding out Mike Ross was a fraud. They, gave him a chance, but they come back, Jessica and Lewis, and everybody's left and whatnot. And then you can't really blame these people, right, because they don't want their name tarnished. But either way, they're going to be kind of linked to it. So them leaving doesn't necessarily mean that much. Rachel and Mike, they're getting married. Rachel's getting married. But not really. Mike asked the father to kind of, the priest or whatever, to kind of marry them. Then that kind of goes to shit. And that's the thing about Suits, right? Especially in this episode. They did a good enough job at kind of bringing back a lot of certain characters that you may or may not think was actually like a one-shot deal. Particularly the priest could have been a one-shot guy, right? They brought back Trisha Helfer in this episode. I think it was last week they brought back Pooch Hall and a whole bunch of these people. And that's the thing about Suits, that you think a character could be one shot, but they could just return back and they could branch out the story just as much, So any character that got like fucked over, or Harvey Mike kind of fucked over, they could come back and bite them in the ass. So I was just like, okay, sure, that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, also another big thing is when Harvey and Mike finally fight, right? He's trying to toughen him up for prison, which I thought was kind of funny, but he's trying to toughen him up for prison. And then I was just like, damn, that's kind of a heartbreaking scene to see, because yes, Harvey and Mike kind of had their arguments before, but they never got physical. So seeing that was kind of like Tyson or Holyfield. It was like, this is the big fight of the century, but it's very sad to see them kind of go to blows, with each other. But yeah, this episode was a fantastic episode. And this season, just kind of like talk about the season now, it's just that this season did so many good things right, to the point where the acting was fantastic. And I feel like it really did make you care more for the characters compared to any other season, really. And I feel like everything was so fleshed out and well thought out. Nothing really seemed half-assed, right? The only thing I would say in this season that kind of felt like, and I'm sure I'll continue in season 6, but was kind of like the Donna father storyline, which I felt that just kind of happened and nothing really went on there. That's just my personal opinion. Then when Mike kind of does go to prison, right, and Harvey kind of takes him, the wedding kind of gets postponed. He says to Rachel, if you want me after 2 years, then I'll be, that'd be great or whatever. So he takes him there in the 25th hour, as this title is called. He takes him there. In a very nice moment, they drive. Mike goes to prison. That's kind of the basic thing, right? Now, for me personally, when Mike does go to prison, that is a very sad moment. It's still touching. And Suits has these type of moments, once again, how to end it very well with music. And they do a very good job here. But seeing their final conversation with each other was very well done and just great. Now, I'm just going to say this for the Emmys. If Suits, Gabriel Macht, or anybody on this show is not nominated in September, go fuck yourself, Emmys, because they all deserve it. At least a nomination, people. Fuck. They've been working their asses off. But what I want for season 6 will probably be, I don't know if I want them to fast forward 2 years. It will be interesting, and maybe they could do flashbacks where like Harvey's driving Mike back to his house or whatever. They can showcase what kind of happened. But I don't know what could really happen, because everybody's just in a jumble, and the next season is going to be so challenging for the writers, but it's going to be very interesting for the fans to kind of see how they kind of adjust to, because Mike's not going to practice anymore. So it'll be interesting, what happened to the cast of Suits. But yeah, this was a fantastic season, and thank God we don't have to wait like a year or whatever. We only have to wait a couple months for the summertime. That's what I like about Suits is seasons usually. But yeah, that's my review. A fantastic episode. It'd be interesting to fast forward 2 years when they kind of return back, but maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. What do you think? Comment, subscribe, and like. Sorry about my voice, losing it. Chris Smith, I'm signing out.